So it says z varies inversely as the square of x and directly as y, and they've given us the values. Z is equal to 6, x negative 3, and y 27. So find the a value of k, the constant of variation. So this is variation. So we have inverse and direct. So the concepts, you need to understand the concepts. So this is inversely. So when they say z varies inversely, if you want to write, because for you to write, to find the value of k, you need to make a formula. How do you make a formula? You need to understand the relationships. Okay? So when they say inversely, so z is inversely. This is how you write it. This is our a. Z varies inversely. So varies, we represent it as this. When they say inversely as the square of z, inversely means 1 over whatever you are given. So the square of x. So when they say the square of x, they are not saying the square root. They are saying the square. So this is square, not the square root. So this is inversely. And directly as y. So when they say directly means you write it just immediately just after whatever you've written. So our y is going to be here. In short, you multiply. Yeah, you multiply in simple terms. That's directly. You write it just after what you are writing. So if it was directly here, we would have not written 1 over this. We would have written it directly here. But inversely, you say 1 over whatever you are writing. This is not just in maths, even in science and whatsoever. When something is inversely, you say 1 over that same thing. So this is how it goes. So the next thing, since we are multiplying, so y is going to come here. But we need to introduce now the equal sign. So z is equal to, we replace this with the equal sign. Whenever you introduce the equal sign, you introduce k. It is fixed. That's how it goes. Every time you introduce the equal sign, you introduce k. Then you write whatever you have. So here we have, when 1 multiplied by y, we are going to say y over x squared. So these are multiplying also. So as it is going to be ky over x squared. Then you get the values. So at each question, at each stage, each question they'll give you the values to use. So in this case, z is equal to 6. Where there is z to replace 6. X is equal to negative 3. Okay, x is equal to negative 3. So we'll say k. X is negative 3. So negative 3 squared, because this is squared. Y is 27. So this is 27. So this is going to be 6 is equal to, this will be k times 27. That's 27k over negative 3 squared. That's 9. So we say over 1, we cross multiply. So 1 times 27 is going to be 27k, which is equal to, we will say this is 9 times 6. So over 27 over 27. So our k is equal to, so this will give us 54 over 27. So k is equal to 54 over 27 is 2. So this is our constant of variation, k. So this is constant. When you get it wrong, probably the next questions will get them wrong. Then B says, find the value of z when y is equal to this and x is equal to this. So we'll still get back to this equation. We are looking for z. So our B, we are going to say z is equal to, it says when y is equal to negative 6. So here our k is 2. Here actually. So we'll be using this. Our k is 2. Then our y, they are saying, is negative 6. So you don't get this value of y. Each question, they'll give you the information. Negative 6. Then you say over. So over, this is x squared. So the value of x, they are saying negative 2 squared. So our z is going to be 2 times negative 6, that's negative 12, over negative 2 squared is 4. Therefore, our z is going to be 12 divided by 4. Negative 12 divided by 4 is negative 3. So negative 3 will be our answer. Then when we go to C, find the value of x when y is equal to 8 and z is equal to 1. So when we get this equation, z is equal to 1. So where there is z, we'll put 1. Being equal to k is still 2 because it's constant. Then y they are saying is 8 over x squared. We are looking for x. So here we'll say over 1, we cross multiply. 1 times x squared, it will be x squared being equal to 2 times 8. That's 16. So for us to find the value of x, we'll say, to kill this, we'll introduce the square root. When you introduce the square root, even this side, we must introduce the square root, so that this cancels with this. Our x is going to be, when you introduce the square root, it is a must to say plus or minus. You have two values. So the square root of 16 is 4. Therefore, x is equal to positive 4 or x is equal to negative 4. No wonder when you look at the question, they said values of x, not value. So this is not singular, it's plural, meaning you need to have more than one answer. Even here, x is equal to this or this. So that's the case.